Alright, so I'm back and I'm going to talk to you about The Instigators, a new Apple TV film with Casey Affleck and Matt Damon.
Yeah, no shit.
So don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm going to try to pull out more videos. I haven't been consistent. My apologies. Still, I would like to put out more content. And there's been some good stuff coming out this year, so I'll try to catch up with that. So just to a little bit of context here, The Instigators, it's directed by Doug Liman. I'm kind of a fan of what he did overall. He has some really great film with Edge of Tomorrow, American Made with Tom Cruise, Swingers, which is a classic from the 90s.
Yeah, we're going to Vegas, Mike.
Vegas! You think we get there by midnight?
Honey, we're gonna be up 500 by midnight.
Ah, Vegas!
Also some bad films, specifically in 2021 with Chaos Walking and Lockdown. So, I mean, I even like his Roadhouse remake that we saw earlier this year with Jake Gyllenhaal. So I kind of like most of his film, but he's kind of hit and miss sometimes. But he has a certain level of energy behind the camera that I always liked about him. And let's talk about The Instigator. This one is kind of in the middle of his filmography, maybe more in the bottom section. It feels like a kind of a missed opportunity with having like all those great actors coming together. It's a crime comedy. The comedy aspect doesn't always hit the spot. It's a movie that has some fun moments in it, but I never found myself like laughing out loud at any of the joke. And I also made a mistake of not reviewing it immediately after watching it, because now, to be honest, I kind of have trouble remembering the film. I saw it a couple of days ago. It's one of those films that kind of end up being forgettable, unfortunately. All that being said, I thought it was kind of decent, nothing more than that. I mean, like I said, Doug Liman's high energy behind the camera, it brings a certain level of fun that this movie desperately needed. They tried to make most of this story, you know, kind of like really by the numbers screenplay. It's nothing new, it's derivative, kind of unoriginal as well, but it doesn't make, you know, it makes a good use of its cast, and the jokes, you know, some of the jokes were kind of landing, but it's overall is the camaraderie between the characters that's kind of interesting.
You're gonna get shot in the face.
Just real quick, like whoom, whoom.
It's not a matter of technique.
Casey Affleck and Matt Damon, but there's also a stack of supporting characters. Ving Rhames is in this movie. His character is kind of like a big highlight in this film. Ron Perlman, he played this this politician that's kind of corrupted, and obviously he fits very well in that role, kind of like this hassle character. Alfred Molina, Hong Chau. So all of those characters, they kind of bring plus value to the film, and it still feels like they should be creating more spark on the screen, honestly. I kind of felt like they were lacking chemistry, except for maybe Damon and Affleck. They always, you know, they have a history together. They kind of like have this chemistry that was working out, but by the end of it, it felt a little bit flat. I also like Michael Stuhlbarg in this. He was quite funny in this one, always like pissed off every time you see on the screen. Overall, the film itself, what's the story about? There's this two cons. They get hired for a job. They need to steal some money. So it's this classic caper scenario that you're used to seeing, and it has that early 2000s caper feel to it, with, you know, fast-paced dialogue. It's a crime comedy set in Boston with some interesting car chases. By the way, notably one of them involved a fire truck and a armor truck. That was really interesting. Doug Liman has a way to put the camera at really interesting spots during either a car chase or during a gunfight or during a fight chase. I'm just going to go back quickly on his Roadhouse remake. I like that film. You know, the fight sequence were interesting in this one, but if I go back to The Instigators, it's more static in the way it's shot. But when you have those car chases in those action sequences, you find a way to bring some energy behind it, and it's upbeat. It has a pulse to it. It's interesting. Problem is, it kind of like, it's forgettable. It kind of falls flat. I can't help but feel like this movie was made for streaming, and it's seriously lacking in entertainment value overall. It does work, you know, as a casual Friday watch. It might end up finding its audience, but it's you know, I just don't have much to say about that film, to be honest. It's the kind of thing that you would like in the early 2000s, you would find at you know, a video store, and you would rent it for a Friday night with pizza and, you know, kind of have fun with your friends talking over the movie. movie. It's that kind of film, but I feel like, you know, it's not demanding. So in that area, some people might be able to enjoy it. But unfortunately, just like really, I'm like really in the middle with that film. So I'm gonna give it 5.5 out of 10, just slightly under the passing grade. Just a movie that I watched and I completely forgot about. But I mean, in that same way, I mean, Apple TV still has it's a streaming filler, right? It's a movie that it's on the platform. It's like, hey, look, we have this movie with Matt Damon and Casey Affleck, but at the end of the day, at least it's not as bad as some of the worst film that Netflix have been pulling out, specifically this year. But all that being said, it's fine. I think some people might be able to enjoy it. I like Doug Liman, so this is why I was a bit disappointed. I was expecting a little bit more energy behind that film. It has like a big feel to it, but it's still missing something. It's missing something. It's a little bit flat and it's forgettable, but I still enjoy it a little bit. So yeah, that's The Instigators by Apple.